Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, March 18th, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, is again making his case for SVG to get involved in a Citizens by Investment program, CIP. Dismissing criticisms leveled by the government against the program at a public meeting in Georgetown on Saturday evening, Dr. Friday said the CIP, which the NDP is proposing, will be one that is open and transparent, which will bring tremendous benefits to SVG.
Introduce the Citizenship by Investment program. I've told you this. This government, they have tried to make you think that is the worst thing in the world. You're selling your patrimony. You're selling passports. Well, I tell you, go to any bookstore in Kingston, see if you can see any passports on sale. That is not what you're going to do. This is going to be a rigorous program of investment, and persons who invest and they have a stake in the country, then we say you're entitled to become a citizen of this country. They already do it now. But the way they do it is that they do it selectively by persons who they want to, they choose, and they give them citizenship. Like Mr. Ames. How do you think Ames got citizenship? Because they said he had a substantial investment in the country. But what do you think the citizenship by investment program is? The persons must have a substantial investment in the country. The difference is that this is an open and transparent process. That somebody who comes, they apply, and you have a team of persons who will do the assessment, and they will tell you which projects they want to invest in.
Leveling his own criticism against the approach taken by the government, Dr. Friday questioned why the government wants to invest in hotel development. He said the investment could have come from CIP funds if SVG had such a program.
Right now, you have 250 rooms, 300-room hotels that are being built with investment under the Citizenship by Investment program. Not a cent of government money is being spent. These are people who are risking their own money to bring this development to those countries for the benefit of being a citizen of that country. And here's the thing. One of the arguments they use is, oh, the Citizenship by Investment programs could be finished at any time. Well, listen. They participated in the Petrocurry program for 10 years. Where is it now? Petrocurry is dead. But here is the thing. If you build a 250-room hotel down at Mount Wynn, whereas somebody comes and invests on the Citizenship by Investment program and builds that facility there, and then the program ends or the person goes away, is the hotel gone? That is still going to be there. That infrastructure is still there. It will be there to generate jobs and economic opportunities to the people of this country. So that is something that I will tell you.
Also championing the cause for a Citizenship by Investment or CIP program was MP for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock. Leacock said the government's top-down approach is not working as it does not create opportunities for all. He said the economic policies for the country must be of benefit to all and believes this can be achieved through the CIP program.
To build an airport, to create 300 jobs, and to put in the hands of whom? Not you. $35 million to save a bank, create 0 job, no job. And we're going on and on and on in a bottomless pit where it doesn't matter and concern you, the ordinary folk of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The New Democratic Party says that economic development begins with you. You're front and center of everything we think about. And I'm saying, on behalf of the New Democratic Party, not only would we adopt the Citizens by Investment program, Europe will talk, this will talk, that will talk. But even him came to the parliament and saying, we must stand up and not be bullied by anybody. But if we can put our hands on another $200–300 million a year, we can put another 10–15,000 Vincentians to work in this country.
Leacock proposed the creation of a processing plant, which he said will transform the lives of Vincentian farmers, and said with CIP funds, this plant can become a reality.
Absolutely no reason why thousands and thousands and thousands of Vincentians cannot stay in their old home and make a decent living. And we say we will use at least $50 million of CBI funds to put down a processing plant in this country that will process every bit of fruit that passes through this country. And we have the means, we have the thought, we have the idea, we have the understanding of how we carry our country forward. St. Vincent has to understand it doesn't belong to any single politician. All people have a right to think global and go global.
The opposition MP said with CIP and innovative thinking, SVG can be on a better footing financially.
We have to have the mindset, the know-how, and the skill set. In the New Democratic Party, we have that team. That team of engineers, political scientists, economists, engineers, teachers, social workers, community men, every facet of development resides in the New Democratic Party. And more important than that, the New Democratic Party remains an institution where we can tap on the experience of those who have brought it along before us and draw on their experience to carry this country forward.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has made it clear on numerous occasions that while the opposition and others are eager to follow the lead of other Caribbean countries in initiating a CIP, the government of SVG under his leadership will not be doing so, and maintains his position on the matter is non-negotiable. He said SVG's passport is not a commodity for sale, noting that it is an outward sign of the inward grace of citizenship, and that too is not for sale. Tourism consultant Vera Ann Burton is confident that niche markets in heritage tourism can be realized for SVG once interesting persons receive the full backing from all stakeholders. Burton dished out many ideas to participants at the 6th Garifuna Conference held last week, where she challenged the youth to grasp the opportunities in a number of areas that will present themselves in heritage tourism.
Cuisine, including learning how to cook the Garifuna way. Holidays centered around that. Homestays, that's where people come and stay in your homes. Or creating this form of visitor accommodation will create a whole new set of entrepreneurs. A farming holidays. Have persons pay you to come and help prepare your land. Accompanied, of course, with attractions, with attractive ancillary services and offers to those visitors who wish to partake of these types of holidays. Consideration should be given in the future to the development of programs which, and this may be controversial, which showcase the cultural tapestry of our country by building collectively, not right now because we still have a longer to do in all three different areas, by building collectively on National Heroes Day, Indian Arrival Day, and Emancipation Day.
Burton added that storytelling about sites in SVG is another area to be explored. The tourism consultant noted that involving the people could be done through conferences periodically, which will eventually create job opportunities.
Development of small meetings and conferences, and I mean small. Beginning with locals, spreading to the diaspora, and maybe later to the international markets. The ancillary services linked to meetings and conferences such as catering, cleaning, transportation, printing, IT services, just to name a few, and not beyond the capability of local communities as long as the processes already mentioned are carefully adhered to. 2, and this has already been done, exhibition of art and craft, music, dance, and poetry, along with the development of young entrepreneurs, Darky mentioned that, who would eventually take full responsibility for these and other exhibitions and events, both within and outside their own communities over time.
Burton further pointed out that the authorities must also do their part by giving more support to local initiatives.
No matter how much Darky and his people do, you have to have the support of the authorities. The creation of a support system this is where, not just with tourism, we fall down a lot, not every case, but we fall down with projects and with new things that we are introducing. The support system must offer financial support. I shouldn't say must, because that's dictated. Should offer financial support, mentoring, marketing, management, monitoring at surveys and other types of research, and human resource development. Such support would be provided for a specific period of time. Otherwise, people never grow up, depending on their product type, community needs, the individual support systems required to ensure project success.
Rivers are an important part of the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, and Vincentians have been encouraged to do more to keep them clean, thus ensuring the quality and quantity of water they produce. This encouragement comes from Forestry Supervisor Cosmos McLeod as he spoke with SVG-TV News from the field in the Montreal area. The Forestry Supervisor said the removal of vegetation by farmers contributes to the leaching of soil and other nutrients into the water supply.
Important function it plays with water in terms of fresh water is the quality of the water. Now when you have vegetation on either side of the river, it creates what we call a lovely ambient temperature for the water, an ideal ambient temperature. So once the water is at that temperature, then the quality of the water tends to be maintained. Once the water is heated up, the absence of that vegetation means that the water is going to be exposed to direct sunlight. Hence, evaporation is going to take place more rapidly, so you're going to lose your water more rapidly through evaporation. And then because the water is heated up, it means that it's going to speed up the chemical reaction. The chemicals that would have entered the water from the biocides and the chemicals that would have been used are now going to be accelerated due to the fact that the water temperature is higher. So you want to maintain an ideal water temperature by planting vegetation along your riverbank.
McLeod said pig farming near riverbanks also has a negative effect on the water supply and explained how.
Other practices that is done by farmers in terms of affecting the freshwater quality is pig rearing. Pig rearing has become a very big issue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines along riverbanks. Mainly again because of the ease of access to water. And you know, pigs would require a high demand when it comes to cleaning of the pens and also for drinking, etc. So by doing that, pigs in itself accelerate the erosion because pig burrows its roots. And once the pig turn up the soil, obviously it's going to cause accelerated erosion, and we're going to have more soil entering the waterways. Another important thing to consider when it comes to pig rearing is coliform bacteria contamination, E. coli, because the pigs in itself, when the pig defecates and that ends up into the waterways, obviously this is going to have a severe impact on the quality of the water. So it's very critical that we note that we need to preserve our rivers and particularly our riverbanks. Our rivers are very critical.
The Forestry Supervisor said given the effects of climate change, it is of critical importance for all to play a role in protecting SVG's water supply systems.
When it comes to water supply, fresh water, if we are talking about irrigation, we need our rivers. If we have a crisis in terms of water shortage, the next best alternative to your pipe-borne water is your river water. If we are talking recreation, your river water again comes into play. If we're even talking about climate amelioration in terms of keeping your ambient temperature at a certain acceptable and tolerable levels, because we are talking nowadays about the impacts of climate change. And we are seeing that we are having more severe weather conditions. Hence the importance of maintaining a forest and maintaining our rivers in a healthy state that it can impact on people and the use. Because obviously if you're overheated, you would want to go to the river to cool down. So bear that in mind, that is very critical and very important for us to preserve and protect our rivers and our riverbanks.
A two-day agro-tourism policy setting workshop will commence tomorrow at the Beachcombers Conference Room. The workshop is a collaboration between the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Tourism, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, the Technical Center for Agricultural and Rural Cooperation, and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, AICA. The objectives are to promote linkages between the agri-food sector and the tourism industry to increase sustainable local sourcing of fresh and processed agricultural and fisheries products through an effective agro-tourism policy. It also seeks to increase the understanding and awareness of the current deficiencies in the supply of food products along the value chain and to identify the actions needed and to revise the strategy for the development of farm tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tomorrow's opening ceremony will begin at 9 a.m. with the feature address to be delivered by Minister of Tourism, Cecil Mackey. Final preparations are underway here for the visit of their Royal Highnesses, the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall, this Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. The visit is part of a wider Commonwealth country tour to the Caribbean from March 17th to the 29th. Their Royal Highnesses are expected to arrive in St. Vincent at midday on Wednesday at the Argyle International Airport, where a welcoming ceremony will be held on the tarmac. They will then proceed to the front of the airport, where they will greet school children and members of the general public. A news release from the Agency for Public Information said, from there the program will split as the Prince departs for the mangroves at Brighton, while the Duchess heads to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, where a small exhibition from female entrepreneurs will be staged. Following her engagement at the community college, she will then proceed to the St. Vincent Girls High School to meet with students there. Following this visit to the mangroves, that's his visit to the mangroves, His Royal Highness will stop at the SVG Coast Guard for a brief engagement and then proceed by sea to the Kingston ferry berth. It is at this point that both convoys will come together again and proceed to the cenotaph for a wreath-laying ceremony. The wreath-laying ceremony will be followed by a visit to St. George's Cathedral, then on to the Botanical Gardens for a tree planting ceremony. The final activities will be a reception and an investiture ceremony at the residence of the Prime Minister, where several persons who were named on the Queen's New Year's Honours List will receive their awards. Dr. Cecil Cyrus, one of the honorees, will also be knighted at this ceremony. The other islands to be visited include Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Cuba, and the British Overseas Territory, the Cayman Islands. It will be the first time that Cuba will receive an official visit from a member of the royal family. Their Royal Highnesses visited St. Lucia yesterday. 5 participants have been selected to compete in the finals of the inaugural National Corporate Public Speaking Competition, the NCPSC. The finalists are Muzi Cummings, RSVG Police Force, Trakisha Davis, AIA, Ayandi Bramble, Massey Stores, Marlon Anton James, Excess Steel Inc., Cavell King Jr., Massey Stores. Here is a snippet of the 5 finalists at last Saturday's semis.
Use social media to influence customers in such a way that they do the advertising for them. It's great. So what do we take away? Social media is here to stay. It enhances businesses, it's cheap, it's cost effective, it's great at reaching out to the people who matter.
I want to make it abundantly clear that criminal elements are using social media to ply their abominable trade, but the police force will continue to be at the forefront of fighting cyber criminals.
Now, social media allows persons to post content on these sites freely, thus making it easier for malicious content to damage a company's reputation.
Now, although social media has shifted the balance of power in favor of consumers, businesses can now also use it to their advantage to try to bring the relationship into equilibrium.
Social media in business today is absolutely necessary, and your success in the future depends on your willingness and proficiency with social media now.
The finals of the National Corporate Public Speaking Competition will take place on April 13th. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture is looking to host an independent song competition this year as part of the country's 40th independence celebration on 27th October. Addressing the recent launch of the 2019 Secondary School Bands Showcase, Minister of Tourism Cecil Mackey said the school bands will have the opportunity to be part of this festival.
It came as a suggestion of doing a calypso competition, but I think we expanded that because we want to include all genres. So I can positively say that we'll make sure that it happens. So again, that will be another opportunity for you, the young musicians, to be able to play music and be seen for that competition. Maybe we can use the same bands that we have existing here in this process to play for that competition as well, so that you will have preliminaries, and those can be drawn from, persons can attach to a band in the particular area, so you don't have one band being overloaded. So this is something that we could look forward to in 2019.
The secondary school band's showcase will be held on March 23rd on the tarmac of the decommissioned E.T. Joshua Airport.